This reminder that it's been suggested that every character and every symbol and every archetype in every story is an aspect of ourself. Metaphorically speaking, that means that every story is our story. There's a story about an elderly couple who had longed for a child all their life. But it wasn't until their dotage that the wife became pregnant and gave birth to a daughter. She was perfect in every way, except that her facial features were so distorted that in appearance she was beast-like. So, to keep their child safe, they did not take her out of the house. She was kept confined indoors, and when any visitors came, she was relegated to her room. But her father was very pious and followed his Jewish faith assiduously. So, as he recited from the sacred books, his daughter was privy to all that was read. Also, she learned the prayers that were part of the lifestyle of this faith. And when she was old enough herself, she was able to read these sacred books for herself. So one day, when her father came back from synagogue, and he was looking very perplexed, his daughter, who was called Sarah, said to him, "Father, what is it that's troubling you?" And he replied that at the synagogue that day there had been a passage that not even the rabbi was able to explain and interpret. And then Sarah herself gave an explanation of this deep passage. Her father was greatly surprised, and when he went back to the synagogue and told this to the assembly, they also were very surprised at the wisdom of this interpretation. And so it began a time when consults were given to Sarah through her father that she could respond to with wisdom and eloquence. And her fame went far and wide until a young scholar from a distant place heard of this woman, and he came to her village and he sought her out. But he was told by those in the synagogue that questions could be asked of her only through her father. So the young scholar, after asking 3 questions and having a very erudite answer given through the father, he said, "I must meet this woman. I would be seeking such a woman to become my wife. I know that I need to learn and to be married such a one who has such wisdom would be a grace." So he asked for her hand in marriage to the father, but of course he refused. But the scholar insisted that he would not leave this place until he was betrothed to this woman of wisdom. So the father conceded and agreed to the marriage, and the wedding took place. But on the wedding night, when the scholar had his bride's face revealed, he was shocked and repelled. But Sarah gently scolded him and reminded him of a great truth revealed in the sacred books, so that seeing this truth, he laid with his wife that night. But in the morning, he, leaving behind his ring and his ritual shawl, the tallis, he left that place, not to be seen again. After some months, Sarah gave birth to a son. But as he grew, he also was kept in the home until it came a time that he had to go to school. So in sending him to school, his grandparents claimed that he was their son. But one day the young boy heard people talking, saying that this old couple were too old to be his parents, and that the father must have come and gone, and they laughed. So the boy went back home, and he demanded of his grandparents to know the truth. But at first his grandfather lied to him, until it came to a time that his mother, Sarah, intervened and said, it is right and proper that he should now be told the truth. So Sarah, his mother, told him the story, and she brought out the ring and the shawl to show her son. Immediately the boy said, I am going to find my father. And taking the ring and the shawl, asking his mother where it could be that his father lived, he set out for the village in which he had come from in a far distant place. Now the boy had many adventures in finding his way to this place, but after some time and those many adventures, he came to that village and went straight to the synagogue, where he asked if anyone knew this being giving his name. And it so happened that there was an old man there who stepped forward and said, this is my son. Why do you want to seek him? And the boy explained what had happened. And then he brought out the ring and the shawl. The father was greatly shocked, because this was the ring and the ritualistic shawl that he had given his son many years before. And also, when he looked at the boy, there was a striking resemblance of himself in his youth. So he said to the boy, "Come with me." And taking the boy by the hand, he took him home. And he said to the boy, "Wait here, I will enter the house and call you." So when the father entered the house, his son was sitting at the table studying a holy book. And he approached him, and he took out the ring and the shawl, and he said to his son, handing him the ring, "Do you recognize this?" And his son's face blanched as he saw the ring. And his father brought forth the shawl and said, "Is this too yours?" And of course, his son had to admit that both of these items belonged to him, given to him by his father. So the old man called the boy in, and he said, "If you claim this ring and this shawl, then surely you must claim this boy, your son." With the reunion that took place, the boy said to his father, "You must come home with me. My mother is beautiful and she is wise." At first, the man was reluctant to do so, but finally he went with his son back to his home. When they arrived there, the scholar, the man, was embarrassed, afraid of the reception he might receive, so he stayed at the doorway as his son entered and was greeted by his mother. But then the son said, "I have brought my father with me. Here he is." And as, of course, Sarah looked up and saw him in the doorway, she immediately recognized her husband. They gazed at one another for a few moments before Sarah gestured to call him into the room. And when they did, they embraced in a great and warm reunion, because the scholar, the man, the father, saw that Sarah was beautiful. After they resumed their family life, the son noticed that by his mother's bed was placed a small bottle with a few drops of water and the ring. Her son asked her, "What do these signify?" And smiling, she responded that the vial of water was that which was a gift from the prophet Elijah that removed the veil that hid her beauty. And the ring was a reminder. We can ask ourselves, firstly, what is the truth that Sarah revealed to her husband the night of their wedding? And what is the significance, the meaning of the ring she kept beside her bed? What is the deep meaning of this story for us? And what these things signify for us? Truth, a ring, what is it we've discovered? What is our reminder? Was it a truth that sowed a seed in us? What's its significance for us? Truth about life, creation, beauty,